Peace be upon you, and welcome to a new episode. Today, we're diving into one of the strangest and most horrifying stories you could ever hear. A crime that shook all of Egypt and left people unable to believe what had happened. Imagine this. On an ordinary day, just like any other, in Minya al-Qam, a quiet town in Al-Sharqiya, Governorate, Egypt, in the year 2009. A simple farmer sets out to work on his land before dawn. The sky is still dark. As he walks along the dirt road, he spots a large cardboard box lying on the side, sealed very tightly, as if someone had deliberately placed it there to hide a terrifying secret. Like any curious person, the farmer goes closer and tries to open it. The moment he lifts the lid, what he sees leaves him frozen in place, unable to move, unable even to scream. Inside that box are body parts, carefully dismembered and arranged as if they were butchered meat, with dried blood and the suffocating stench of death. The man runs frantically to alert the villagers. People gather around the box, terror in their eyes, women screaming, men stepping back in shock. And it didn't stop there. Within just a few hours, more reports come in from other spots in the area, more boxes found, almost as if the killer or killers had deliberately scattered the body in different locations to confuse the investigation, send the police on a wild chase, and erase the traces of this gruesome crime. The police arrive quickly, collect the boxes, and after long hours of forensic examination in the lab, they discover that the victim was a well-known and well-liked man in the community, a successful businessman with a small family, thriving ventures, and considerable wealth. But who could have done this to him, and why? Was it revenge from a business rival, a hidden family secret, or something even worse, like betrayal from someone closest to him? That's what we're about to uncover together, in a story full of mystery, destructive love, marital betrayal, and a brutal crime that will keep you glued to the screen. Before we begin, don't forget to like and share this episode so it can reach as many people as possible. And if you love Indian crime stories, make sure to subscribe to my other channels so you never miss an update. You'll find the link in the description box. Without further delay, let's dive deep into our story. Our story today begins in the early 1990s, specifically around 1990, in Minya al-Qam, a small quiet town in Al-Sharqiya Governorate, Egypt. It's a place known for its fertile lands, where people live a simple life, though there are wealthy families who own large plots of land and run successful businesses. One of those families was home to a young woman named Doaa Samir, the daughter of a very wealthy man. Her father was a major trader with vast agricultural lands and a thriving business in grains and crops. Her family was known throughout the entire region for their wealth and influence. Doaa Samir was stunningly beautiful. People in Minya al-Qam called her the Princess of Minya al-Qam, or Beauty Queen of Al-Sharqiya, because her beauty was extraordinary, not something you saw every day. Whenever she stepped outside, everyone would turn to look at her. Young men competed just to get a glance from her eyes, and women envied her. Despite her beauty, Doaa was quiet, gentle, and not arrogant about her looks. That only made her the center of attention even more. She lived a life of comfort, excelled in school, and her family provided her with everything, from luxurious clothes to private tutoring to help her stay ahead in her studies. In 1992, when Doaa Samir entered Zagazig University, the capital city of Al-Sharqiya Governorate, a new chapter in her life began. The university was full of young men and women from different areas, and that's where she met a young man named Ahmed. He was her classmate and, like her, from Minya al-Qam, But unlike her, he came from a humble background. Ahmed was ambitious and intelligent, but his financial situation was difficult. His father was a farm laborer, and the family lived in a small house. At first, Doaa and Ahmed were just friends, studying together, talking about their dreams. But little by little, that friendship blossomed into a deep and passionate love. It was the kind of love that made them dream about the future and forget the rest of the world. They met at the university every day, sitting under the trees for hours, talking about life, marriage, and building a family together. Ahmed loved her madly, telling her, "You are the light of my eyes. I can't live without you." And Doaa Samir adored him, not for his money or status, but for his kind heart, ambition, and loyalty. They exchanged love letters, went on secret outings in the gardens of Zagazig, and dreamed of having a small home in Minya al-Kam, with children playing in the fields. But their love was a secret, because Doaa's family was strict and would never approve of a poor young man. In 1994, after years of loving her, Ahmed decided to formally propose. He went to her family's home in Minya al-Kam, wearing his best clothes, bringing flowers and small gifts, and told her father, "I love your daughter, and I want to marry her." But sadly, Doaa's father rejected him immediately, saying, "You're a simple man. Your family is not on our level. My daughter deserves better, someone who can give her the same comfortable life she's used to." Ahmed tried more than once, returning a second and third time with more expensive gifts, but each time he was harshly turned away. Her family told him, "Close the door behind you, you're not suitable." Doaa Samir was heartbroken, crying in her room and telling her mother, "I love him, I don't want anyone else." But her family was firm, saying, "He won't be able to make you happy, you'll live in poverty." Finally, in 1995, Ahmed began to feel hopeless. Frustrated, he decided to leave Egypt after graduating from college. He was older than Doaa and specifically traveled to Saudi Arabia to work there, earn money, improve his financial situation, and come back to propose again with more confidence. In their last meeting before he left, Ahmed told Doaa Samir, "I'm going to build myself up, make a fortune, and come back to take you from your family in the right way." Doaa, in tears, replied, "I'll wait for you. My heart is with you." That love was buried deep in her heart. But it didn't die. It was like a fire under the ashes, ready to ignite at any moment. Days passed, then months, then years. Doaa Samir graduated from university in 1997 with very good grades, and her family began searching for a suitable groom. Many wealthy young men proposed to her, but she was still attached to the memory of Ahmed and refused them all, saying, "I don't want to." Until, in 1998, a man named Khaled proposed. He was a successful engineer from a very wealthy family in Minya al-Kam. His family owned companies and factories in the area, working in construction and trade. Khaled himself ran large projects, employing hundreds of locals. Khaled was a good man with high morals, loved by everyone. People in Minya al-Kam described him as generous, helpful to the poor, and respectful to all. Doaa's family immediately agreed, saying, "He's a perfect catch. He'll make our daughter happy and give her a better life." After a long hesitation, Doaa Samir finally agreed, even though her heart didn't hold the same passion as with Ahmed. She told herself, "Maybe this is my destiny, and I'll live happily." The wedding took place in 1999, a grand celebration in Minya al-Kam attended by the entire community. The bride looked like a queen in her white gown. Khaled adored her, completely devoted, telling her every day, "You're the best thing in my life." He gave her everything. A luxurious apartment in the best building in the area, furnished with the most expensive furniture, cars, trips abroad, even a private doorman to protect her, because Khaled was very protective of her, though it came from love, not obsession. He treated her like royalty, bringing her gifts every day and taking her out for romantic dinners in Zagazig, telling her, "I've won the jewel of Al-Sharqiya." In 2000, Doaa Samir became pregnant and gave birth to a beautiful daughter who looked just like her, green eyes, fair skin, a little princess. On the surface, life between Doaa and Khaled was happy and stable. Khaled never neglected her, working long hours at his companies to build an empire, while Doaa was the queen of the house, raising their daughter, spending time shopping, and making family visits. Everyone in Minya al-Qam envied her, saying she's living like royalty. But fate had other plans, and old love doesn't die easily. 2 years into the marriage, in 2001, things began to shift little by little, but it was in 2009 that everything turned completely upside down. One ordinary day in 2009, Doaa Samir went to the market in Minya al-Qam to buy household goods with her young daughter beside her. Walking through the narrow streets, people turned to look at her as usual, and then, by pure coincidence, she saw Ahmed, her old love, back from Saudi Arabia after many years. Ahmed had returned because life abroad was too hard for him, but he hadn't managed to build the fortune he had once dreamed of. He was back in Egypt looking for a new opportunity. They stopped in the street. It was their first meeting in years, their eyes filled with tears and memories. Ahmed said, "How are you, Doaa? You're still the most beautiful thing in the world." Doaa felt her heart pound and replied, "Ahmed, you came back? I thought you'd forgotten me." They spoke for a while, reminiscing about their happy university days, the laughter under the trees, the promises of marriage, and the bitter separation. Ahmed told her about his life abroad, the hardship, the loneliness, and said, "I could never forget you. I think of you every single day." Despite being married, Doaa felt her old emotions return like a volcano. She forgot all the luxury and love Khaled had given her, and her love for Ahmed awakened again. She told him, "I never forgot you either, but life went on." She gave him her phone number, saying, "So we can check in on each other, but remember, I'm married now." From that day, their connection began to slowly return. At first, it was secret phone calls with casual conversation about daily life. Ahmed would call when Khaled was at work, saying, "Your voice makes me happy. I've missed you." Doaa would reply, "Me too, but I'm scared." Little by little, the calls turned romantic. They reminisced about the past, saying, "If we had gotten married, our lives would be different." And soon, the old love began to take control of them again. Within just a few months after that meeting in 2009, the relationship escalated into secret encounters. Doaa betrayed Khaled, and their affair became physical, like that of a married couple, filled with passion and excitement. Whenever Khaled went to work at his companies in Zagazig or Minya al-Qam, Doaa would call Ahmed and say, "Come over, the house is empty, my daughter is asleep." Ahmed would come, enter the apartment, and they would spend hours together in the bedroom, talking, laughing, and living the love they had once lost. But Doaa was terrified that the neighbors might see him. She told Ahmed, "If anyone sees you, it will be a scandal. Khalid will kill me." That's when the first plan began, a clever but devious idea to keep their affair going without arousing suspicion. Doaa knew that Khaled loved her and would not refuse her requests, so she told him, "My old friend has a brother who needs a job. Please hire him in your company. His situation is difficult, and he's a capable young man with a university degree." At first, Khaled refused, saying, "I don't need anyone right now. I already have plenty of employees." But Doaa Samir insisted, pestering him daily. "Don't embarrass me in front of my friend. He's a good person. He'll help you with work. He could even be your personal assistant. Eventually, Khaled gave in to please her and hired Ahmed in his company. Ahmed started working with Khaled, getting close to him, helping with everything, attending meetings, organizing paperwork, until he earned Khaled's full trust. They became friends, and Khaled even began treating Ahmed like a brother. Khaled started bringing Ahmed home with him. They would talk about work and have dinner together. Neighbors came to know him simply as Engineer Khaled's friend. Now, Ahmed could come and go from the house freely, even when Khaled was there. But Doaa wanted more. She wanted them to have longer time together without fear. In April 2009, they began buying sleeping pills from pharmacies. Doaa would put them in Khaled's food or juice when he came home from work, saying, "Drink this juice. It'll help you relax after a long day." Khaled would drink it, feel dizzy, and go to bed. Then Doaa would call Ahmed to come over immediately. They would spend hours together, talking about their love. Ahmed would say, "You're my queen. I won't lose you again." And Doaa would reply, "I love you more than anything. Khaled doesn't fill my heart the way you do." The neighbors suspected nothing, since Ahmed was known as Khaled's assistant. This passionate affair went on for months, but over time, Khaled began to suspect something. He noticed strange looks between Doaa and Ahmed. Once, he caught them talking in the kitchen, which led to an argument. Khaled threw Ahmed out of the house, saying, "I don't want to see your face here again. Do you understand?" At that point, Doaa and Ahmed became furious. They saw Khaled as an obstacle to their happiness. Doaa told Ahmed, "He's standing in the way of our happiness. We need to get rid of him so we can be together and take his wealth." In 2009, they held a secret meeting somewhere far from prying eyes, planning the murder in chilling detail, a cold-blooded, devilish plan. Doaa Samir would lead the operation. She said, "We'll use the sleeping pills like before, but in a larger amount so he falls into a deep sleep. Then I'll call you, you'll come over, and we'll kill him in the bathroom so the blood is easier to clean. After that, we'll cut the body into small pieces to make it easier to dispose of, put them in plastic bags and cardboard boxes, and dump them in different places far from the house, like fields or side roads." Ahmed agreed immediately, saying, "I'll do anything so we can be together." They gathered the tools: sharp knives, a small saw, strong bags, and a large amount of sedatives. They relied on the fact that Khaled had enemies in the market because of his business dealings, so no one would suspect them, especially since Doaa's family was well known and respected in Al-Sharqiya governorate. They spent days discussing the details. Doaa said, "We have to do it on a normal day so there's no suspicion and my daughter will be asleep." Ahmed replied, "I will kill him." The plan was meticulously crafted, like a horror movie, but real. The execution took place in August 2009 on an ordinary day. Khaled came home from work tired. Doaa made him dinner and laced his mango juice with a heavy dose of sedatives. Khaled drank it, felt dizzy, and went to the bedroom to sleep. Doaa waited until her daughter had fallen asleep so she wouldn't see anything, then called Ahmed and said, "Come now, he's asleep." Ahmed arrived quickly. They went into the bedroom, dragged Khaled to the bathroom, and Ahmed stabbed him repeatedly in the chest and neck until he died. Blood flowed in the bathroom. Then they began dismembering the body, cutting it into small pieces with the saw. They placed the remains into plastic bags and boxes, cleaned the place thoroughly to remove any trace. After midnight, they went out secretly. Ahmed scattered the boxes in different places, such as distant fields and side roads in Minya al-Kam. Doaa returned to the apartment and slept as if nothing had happened, while Ahmed went home. The next day at dawn, a farmer discovered the first box. ran to inform the villagers, and the police arrived. They collected the boxes, and the forensic report stated that death was caused by stabbing and suffocation. The body was identified as Khaled. The police went to Doaa's house and told her, "We found your husband's body." She collapsed, cried, and screamed, "Who did this?" "They took my husband from me and deprived my daughter of her father." She added, "My husband was a businessman and had many enemies in the market." The investigation began. Officers from the Zagazig Police Department searched the area and questioned the neighbors. People said Khalid was well-liked and helped everyone. The investigation was progressing slowly until a sharp-minded officer noticed Doaa's young daughter sitting quietly in a corner. He approached her gently and asked, "Sweetheart, where was your dad the last time you saw him? Who comes to the house besides your mom?" The girl, with the innocence of a child, said, "Daddy was asleep the last time, and Uncle Ahmed, his friend from work, comes every day, even when Daddy isn't home. He goes into Mommy's room and sleeps there." The officer became alert, drew out more information from her, and confirmed that there was a relationship between Doaa and Ahmed. He ordered Ahmed to be brought in for questioning. At first, Ahmed denied everything, saying, "I don't know anything. Khalid was my friend." But the officer tricked him, saying, "Doaa has confessed and said you're the one who killed him." Ahmed broke down, cried, and confessed to everything, telling the whole story of the old relationship, the betrayal, the plan, and the execution. The police arrested Doaa Samir, confronted her with the confession, and she denied it at first. But after pressure, she admitted it, saying, "I love him, and Khalid was an obstacle." The trial took place in 2014 at the Zagazig Criminal Court. Long sessions, witnesses, evidence, forensic reports, and the verdict: execution by hanging for Doaa Samir and Ahmed. The execution was carried out in Zagazig prison by Hussein Ashmawi, the famous executioner in Egypt. He was struck by Doaa Samir's beauty and said, "God is great. She's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. What a loss for her to be executed. We could execute 20 others instead and let her live." But he carried out the sentence anyway. When he learned the full story later, he said, "She deserved to be executed 1,000 times for what she did." In conclusion, my friends, this story carries a big lesson. When love turns into betrayal, it destroys everything. And with that, today's episode comes to an end. If it's your first time watching the channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything new. See you in a new episode. Goodbye.